I think it's on silent, I think.
Yeah, we're done. Thank you for the extra couple of hours in bed.
Yes, thank you very much.
Thank you, it's okay. It was for myself. I do apologise. Yeah.
Well, how are you feeling physically, Steve, yourself, after your celebration at the weekend?
Physically, I'll not make Thursday, I don't think. Yeah, ridiculous, but I was just delighted for the lad himself, and I think everybody else who supports Newcastle and who's watched the team for the past 12 months. There's been every time he gets it round the box and this, that and the other. And did I say his stat, that's his 47th attempt on target. Great for him, and as I've said many times, he's a great pro, great lad. You know, he lights up the place every day with the way he works. So, as I keep saying, when somebody's like that, you want them to succeed and do well. And let's hope now it's the start of a few.
Yeah, and you've shown a lot of patience in him as well, but I guess the work that he puts in has made that.
Yeah, but when you work with him every day, then you understand what he is, you know, and it's quite ironic. We played him deeper in sort of a midfield role on Saturday, and he scores from there, but he's in the box, and I was delighted for him, and I think all of us who support Newcastle were, because I heard from last January that my mates tell me that he lit up Newcastle then, and he's been a pleasure to work with.
Yeah, you touched on it there. Do you feel now that he's got that monkey off his back?
I hope so. We hope so. We hope so. I mean, look, you know, Big Joe's got it, and Alan had it before he got it, and now Almiron, they're up and running. It's took them a while, but then again, I've always said, when you're buying from abroad, then they always need time. And there was very, very few come straight into the Premier League and hit the ground running. So that, given that bit of time and patience, which of course we all don't get anymore, pays off eventually.
And you mentioned Joe Linton there. Do you think he can look at Alan and look?
Well, I hope so. Look, he's come with all the, you know, the big signing and the number 9 shirt of Newcastle and this and that and the other, and at the minute he's a little bit short of confidence. You just have to stay with it, and he has to stay with it. We know there's a good player in there, and it's taken him a little bit of time, but I'm convinced as well he'll be okay.
Did this group of players keep surprising you game by game?
Well, I can't fault their attitude and their spirit for it, because at the end of the day we set them up, and they have got to show that they're resolute and they're difficult to play against and difficult to beat, and the way they are speaks volumes from them. They're a good group, and if they stay like that, then they deserve the rewards they're getting at the moment. Of course, you need a little bounce of the ball here, there and everywhere, but for the way they are and the spirit of the show, then I've got to be very, very, very pleased over the last few months. I
think in the past, quite often their mental strength was questioned, but that is the one thing that looks...
No, they're fine, and you know, I hate to mention individuals, but Flo, for example, who's played his first game after what he's gone through, you know, the mental side for him to come back, and his second cruciate in as many months, and he played the game on Saturday. He's never been away, so that little air of caution where he's been knocking me door for the last 5 weeks and disappointed that he hasn't been playing, he come into the team on Saturday and he looked terrific.
I think as well, what makes it even more impressive is that you keep having to change it because of injuries and whatnot. It's not as if you've had to self-defend.
No, I mean, all of them. I mean, we're blessed. I mean, look, we've got 6 centre-backs, if you include Dummy as a centre-back, and all of them have played their part. You know, we've got the captain being injured for, you know, with a fracture, and, you know, we have been without 5 or 6 or 7. So it's a big testament to the squad and what we've got, that we've been through the injury problems we've had, is to keep on finding a result, which is quietly impressive.
So what is the plan now for the next couple of games?
Well, look, you think you've done it all in the Premier League, all of a sudden we've got Man U, Everton and Leicester in a short period of time. Difficult games. So we haven't done anything yet. We've given ourselves a nice platform, but we're only halfway there. So we've got to show the same resilience that we've in spirit, which we've showed over the last few months, and hopefully see where it takes us.
In terms of the schedule, slight change today, but what are the plans over the Christmas days?
Well, I've give the players off Christmas Day because we travel. We travel to Manchester on Christmas night, so I think that would be brutally unfair of me to bring them in the morning and ask them to travel again at tea time. So they can enjoy their Christmas with their families, and of course then we're back to work, and then we've got to try and recover to play on the 28th and the 1st, and it's ridiculous, the schedule, I have to say, but that's what it is. Christmas in the Premier League.
I suppose when they get good results like they did against Palace at the weekend,
well, it helps. It helps.
Do things like that.
It helps, and it helps enormously. But now we've got 3 in a week again. So can we go and get a couple of results? That would be terrific, and take us into the new year. And looking forward to the cup tie then.
Do you feel you're getting more out of the players because you're being fair with them like that? And
I think it's not being fair. I think wherever I try and go, I think it's vitally important, whether it's the players or the groundsmen or the girls who watch the kit or whatever, is to try and create a spirit where people enjoy coming to work. And I honestly believe that if people enjoy coming to work, then you get the best out of people. And of course you have to lay the law down at times, but I have to say they've responded to myself and the lads who are brought in with me, and the existing staff who were here before have all bought into what we're trying to achieve. And it's a good place to work at the minute, because results, as I keep saying, results are the most important thing.
No doubt you've seen Man United yesterday, and you go there looking to do the double.
Well, you just see Watford and say how good a team Watford are, and up until yesterday 9 points, and you look at them and say they've got good players all over the pitch. That's how hard this Premier League is. So Man United weren't at their best probably yesterday in the first half, but Watford were excellent. And they're bottom of the league with, as I said, with only 9 points up until yesterday. So whatever team you play against, especially when you go to Man U, and they'll be disappointed after what happened yesterday, and that's always a danger sign. So we'll have to be at our best, we'll have to play well, but let's then go enjoy it. What a game to play on Boxing Day, Man U away, fantastic.
It looks as though Pogba will probably come back in. He was impressive when he came on in the second half. Is that
well, let's be fair, I don't think any of us ever would argue that he's a top player, and nobody wants to see anybody out for 3 months, but he played yesterday as if he'd been away for 3 minutes. He was absolutely immaculate in what he did, so I would expect him to play. But when you go to Man U, they've got good players all over the pitch, so it's what we do.
So just reflecting quickly back on Saturday again, what were you more delighted about, Almiron opening his account, or a significant big win over what has to be said now, a top half contender like Crystal Palace?
Well, they're a good side, Crystal Palace, that's for sure, and what they've got up the top end of the pitch, I know they haven't scored a lot, but they're a threat on the counter-attack, and of course against Roy's team, that they're always immaculately organised, and so we knew it was going to be a big game. My thought was it's going to be a goal either way, and to be fair, it could have went either way, couldn't it? I mean, they've had a couple of chances, so have we. At the right moment, we've took one, which obviously sends everybody and us, of course, delighted. But you've got to forget about it. It's gone. We've got to now focus on, from today, we've got to go and take on Man U at Old Trafford, and on Boxing Day, full house. What a great stage to go and play.
You talked about your celebration. It seemed like the majority of the team went over.
Thankfully, I don't think the cameras have seen it, or they haven't got it, unless I'm aware of something, or you'll be digging for it. But
only from a very wide angle.
Oh, you'll need a big wide angle, yeah, I'm sure. Yeah.
But the rest of
I got a bit carried away. Yeah, I think the rest of the players, the stadium, I think that's the noisiest in my 5 months I've seen the stadium. Just delighted for the player, and how refreshing it was.
That noise level that you heard inside St James's Park, it seemed like the club were starting to be united again. Is that what you're after when you talk about the club being united? The supporters that
well, look, we've got a quite unique support, and that brings with it the expectation, of course, and that's what I'm trying to achieve anyway. Is that support grows even stronger for the team, and when you have games like Saturday and scoring later on, and Almiron scoring, can only try and bring the supporters back. The thing is that our supporters will always back the team, they always have done, and that's what makes it quite unique. So is to try, and if there is any repair job to be doing, then try and put it back on the right track again.
I know we've talked previously about the identity of this team and what you'd like the eventual identity of this team to be, but currently as it looks, Is it about that word resilient that some
Yeah.
this United team?
I think I realised early on that we have to be difficult to beat, difficult to play against, and can we cause people a threat on the counter-attack? That's the way we've been, and I would think 3/4 of the Premier League is like that anyway. You know, we're not into a stage where we've got to go and try and win a league or try and get to the Champions League eventually. That's got to be the aim for everybody, of course, but we've got to be realistic and know what our targets are. And what targets are is to establish Newcastle as a Premier League team again. Only 2 years ago they won the Championship. So, you know, it's gone along okay at the moment. But as I've just said, we've got Man U, Everton, Leicester. A hard week lies upon us, so that's the beauty of the Premier League and how tough it is.
It's a tough week certainly up ahead, but you know, we've already focused on Miggy. What about Andy Carroll? 90 minutes on Saturday, an excellent performance, but I imagine we might not be seeing him for 90 minutes over the Christmas period after that one.
Well, look, I've got to try and box clever, and we'll see how Andy is this morning. Thankfully, Andy's got to an age now where he wants to play every week. I understand. So I'll have a conversation. I would be unrealistic for me to think that Andy could play 2 games in 48 hours. However, not the way he is at the moment, he'll want to. So we'll see. We'll just see how he is physically, and we'll see how he is, and watch this space.
Just focusing on Manchester United, it might not have the glitz and the glamour that it did necessarily in the 90s, the early 2000s even, but how much is this still a Premier League fixture that jumps off the page at people?
Well, for me personally, it always jumps off the page, and I think for every player too. I would think going to Old Trafford, Boxing Day is the big occasion. So, you know, if this doesn't get your juices flowing, then there's something wrong with you. And in my experience, Man U will always be Man U. When they're in town, then it's always your biggest gate of the season. They've always going to play in a certain way. They've got good players, of course they have. So we'll have to be at our best to try and get something, but we're quietly confident that we did it a few weeks ago. We'll have to be at our best if we're going to get something.
Just on a visit to Old Trafford, has Old Trafford almost lost the fear factor that it used to have for visiting teams now or not?
Oh no, I still think, look, they're going through a transitional period which has probably lasted longer than anybody would have thought, and there's 3, 4, 5 managers have now, and Ollie's got the job trying to follow Sir Alex really and what he achieved, and that transitional period is difficult because it's took so long, and it's still going ahead by the looks of it. But make no mistake, they've still got, when I seen them yesterday, they've still got some very, very good young players, and it'll only be a matter of time, in my opinion, that they'll be pushing the right way again.
Just a final one from me. We focused on Watford against Manchester United yesterday, Tottenham, Chelsea. There were difficult scenes, shall we call them, unsavoury scenes. What was your opinion on what happened?
Well, I think I'm like everybody else and say yes, you're sickened and saddened by it. You know, we criticise Europe and parts of it, and unfortunately it's creeping back into our game, and really it's a society thing, and I don't think it'll be long before we see teams walk off the pitch. Nobody wants to see it. You just can't come to terms that somebody wants to go to a football match and do that to an individual. So I'm like everybody else. Let's sound them out, whoever it was, and ban them for life. But as I say, I don't think it's just a football issue we've got here. It's a society thing we've got, which unfortunately is very sad.
Thanks, Steve.
Thanks.
Steve, you played pretty well against the top teams in the main this season. You touched on it before about Man United being a bit of a wounded animal after the weekend's result. They will want to prove themselves at Old Trafford.
I think that's always been the case with Man U, a bad result, and you know they always come out. It's in their DNA. They always come out and want to try and erase it. So we'll have to be guard against it. And make no mistake, when you go to Old Trafford, the one thing you're going to have to do is play well and be brave when you've got the ball, and pose them a threat if we can. And that's what we'll be focusing on, and enjoy the challenge of taking them on. We managed to beat them a few weeks ago. Let's see if we can do something at Old Trafford.
I suppose that's another reason for them to want to beat you even more.
Yeah. Well, I think they'll be just they'll be wanting to erase what's just happened yesterday, and with that it's always difficult. So, it's a short turnaround, and they've got the chance to put it right on Thursday. So we'll have to guard against that.
And Andy Carroll, how much of an impact do you think he's made in the last few weeks?
Oh, his impact has been huge. I think I said it a couple of months ago that once he started training on the lift to give to everybody concerned, he's not young Andy Carroll now. People are looking to him as an example of how to be, and how he's the crowd favourite, and what it's required just to play for Newcastle. He epitomises it, doesn't he? He's not any challenge, or he's not going to shirk anything, and he leads from the front. So when you've got an individual like that, as I've said from day one, if he stays well, and thankfully with the training regime and the programme he's got, touch wood at the minute, he looks very, very good. So I hope that continues.
Yes, it does stay fit. Obviously, that's the key thing. But it's so nice to see him enjoying playing football. Isn't it?
Yeah. I mean, well, look, I think that was part and parcel of the reasons why he wanted to come back here, and it's great that he has that real enthusiasm like any Geordie has. And when you're the local hero like he is, then let's hope he stays well, because he will be a big threat to us, and the more he plays, the more mobility he's showing, and the more stronger he looks. So things can only stay good if he stays well.
If somebody had said to you back in early August, first few weeks of the season, that you'd be where you are now at Christmas time, would you have believed it?
Well, it was always your aim, and there's always certain points totals that you try and you set yourself. Make no mistake, it was difficult, and the one thing I can't be doing is getting carried away with. We've had a good few weeks. However, I see the fixtures coming up, and you think, wow, it's difficult week ahead. So let's just accept where we are. They've done tremendously well, the players. They've showed a great resilience and a great spirit to take where they are. And if that continues, then who knows where we can finish. But I would have took it, but let's accept where we are now and see if we can still move forward.
Perhaps Santa is a Geordie after all.
Well, maybe try and tell that to my grandkids. I don't think they'll take that.
Thanks very much, Steve.
Okay, thanks.
Steve, can I just ask, I know at the beginning of the season, obviously when you were appointed, there was some criticism from some quarters.
For some quarters? From every quarter?
You must be sitting there sort of thinking, well, we've got 25 points.
Look, I was always quietly confident that I've done what I've done, then I could handle the job. I've done it for a long, long time, and I think that has stood me in good stead, and it needed to. And maybe 14 years ago, it might have been too big for me. Considering what happened then, I might have been a little bit more favourable back then than I was probably last summer. But look, that experience that I've had over the years has certainly helped, and I won't get carried away just because I've had a few results. It's still a difficult job and will always be a difficult job, but one I was determined to try my best at and enjoy it if that's possible, and that's certainly the case. I'm enjoying every minute of it.
But knowing where you are, the points total and the victories that you...
Well, all credit to the players, all credit to them, because we've got some good players here, and they've shown that, and especially their spirit and their togetherness has certainly helped them. And when the supporters see that they're giving their all, then they'll forgive mistakes and they'll forgive one or two stray passes. We paid too many stray passes on in the last 15 minutes of the first half on Saturday. We couldn't pass to a black and white shirt, but they still had the resilience to keep on coming and got their reward in the end. And
I know someone was saying there, Santa might not be a Geordie, but knowing you are where you are, make the dinner and red wine feel a bit nicer on Christmas.
Well, listen, it's a time for everybody to enjoy themselves, so we've got to guard against it because we've got to travel to Manchester on Thursday night. So we'll have a good time, and that's for everybody concerned too. So all the supporters and everybody else, I hope they have a great time. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
No new injuries, Steve?
Sorry, pal?
No injuries.
Dummies, the only one that a big concern from Saturday. He's nasty. Groin.